Don't just flirt. Go on a second date with time. This book is a bestseller for a frickin' reason. It is somehow simultaneously a time-traveling romance and a Jason Bourne mystery thriller page turner. And it's going to give Shrek and Ogres Everywhere a run for their money because this has layers. And if you wanted, you could just not go into the layers and enjoy reading it because the writing is amazing. Without spoiling anything that isn't on the dust jacket, one of the main concepts is refugees from history, or expats from the past. When time travel is invented in the book, the British Ministry of Time is able to reach into the past and save the lives of a select few people. So the characters have a discussion about immigration policy from the past. Do we need to build a time wall? I can't emphasize enough. I friggin' love this book. And again, if you wanted to, you can just enjoy this book for what it is. A boy meets a girl, and the past meets the future. A finger meets a trigger, the beginning meets the end. It's amazing. But in the real world, the author herself is British Cambodian. Everybody knows where England is on a map, but not everyone knows Cambodia. But most people know the name Pol Pot because it often belongs in the same sentence as Hitler. On this channel, I try not to discuss things that I do not have specific expertise in, and I do not have specific expertise in the Cambodian genocide. That said, I think it's important to remember the basic facts of what happened. Since it's important to remember these things, it's important to remember that memory is associative. Hitler is to Pol Pot as the Nazi Party is to the Khmer Rouge. Sorry for the pretty intense tone shift. We'll get back to the fun novel in a second, but grave topics require grave tones, and so I guess I'm not sorry. Nor am I sorry for invoking your elementary school understanding of this is to this as that is to that, because if it will help you remember the thing, then it's worth using that mechanism for. One notable disanalogy, though, is when it happened. Hitler died before many of our parents were born, but Pol Pot lived until 1998. The further from the 40s we get, the more that we do need time machines to hear the voices of the victims of the Holocaust. But Kellyanne Bradley's family is made of expats from history. We don't need a time machine. We can just listen. Conclusion. For completeness sake, there's way more themes than I discussed in this little tiny video. If I scared you away by talking about the atrocities of history, there's some real cool sex scenes in this book. Oh my god. And I could write essays about them too. And I might. But she's not just Cambodian. She's also British, which leads to a delightful tension, the likes of which I haven't seen since I read Kindred by Octavia Butler. Put differently, she, like many of us, has both oppressors and oppressed in her bloodline. So she's in a unique position to offer us a theory of history, a theory which I'm trying to communicate some of without spoiling the book because I'm obsessed with this book and I really want you to enjoy it. Sometimes the truths of history are too heavy to be held in buckets made out of words and thought. When our minds fail us, our hearts often turn to story, a big bad wolf, a trail of breadcrumbs, a coffee date with a Victorian sailor. Kellyanne Bradley told us a love story, but she told us something else too, that unless we learn how to listen to history, time won't stop sending us her tired and her poor, its huddled masses of expats from the past. Don't just flirt. Go on a second date with time. A third, as many as it takes for you to see beyond the honeymoon phase and past the good old days. Look to the flaws. If you're dating someone and all you see are rose-colored things, you are putting that person on a pedestal, and that is bad. But if you're dating someone and all you see are their flaws, you're probably exaggerating your own sense of perfection, and that is also bad. We need to balance seeing the past for what it is and seeing the future for what it could be. Human beings are flawed, and so by extension, our history is flawed. But also, human beings are flawed, and so by extrapolation, our future history will also be flawed. We need the right balance, and Bradley gives us a version of what that balance could look like. She gives us a theory of forgiveness for history. Specifically, she gives us a theory for forgiveness of colonialism. She's British and she's from Cambodia. She gives us a theory of forgiveness for history's atrocities. She's British and Cambodian. This book balances these two things and it wraps it up in a frickin' love story. I'm amazed by it. It is a service to the world. I'm running out of words because I've been working on this video for a long time, but it was really good. You should read the book. Every book is a time machine. Happy reading. Click the buttons. Patreon remains the best way to support. Thank you to those of you who supported me through my little hiatus, and I will talk to you in the next one.